What's been your most viral video?
We pretended this King Brown jumped out of the bushes while he was holding an orange and his mate was holding the pizza. And it flew into the air and down landed the ham and orange pizza.
Why did you invest so heavily in social media?
So my new strategy now with socials is about building a highly engaged organic audience that is following the story of our business, to be a bit more open, honest and real. And that's also the back end, like delivery partners and challenges. When you show people the real stuff, then when you do something great, then you can actually really truly celebrate it.
Bit of content that you did around like a lot of people ordering through like delivery apps.
Yeah, I went on a bit of a rant.
Because I related to this when I ordered off Uber Eats in Sydney last week.
I'm just saying delivery partners for now. I'm not going to name one.
We won't say one. It was for me, it was Uber. For you, it's everyone. Okay,
you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Australian Business Podcast. I'm Owen Rask. This podcast series is your field guide to growing and scaling your business. Whether you're just starting out or you're years into it and ready to exit. Your field guides, Zara McGuffey, Daniel Golubev, Jordan Kiddis, and myself are here to support you on your journey. Through these episodes, you will get inspiration from other business owners, get expert Q&A on the technical specifics and how that impacts you, and just hear from a community of like-minded individuals. If you like this episode, we would be so grateful if you shared it with a friend or a family member that may be running a business of their own. Let's get into today's episode. Damian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Today we're going to talk about pizza, marketing, life as a business owner, all those types of things. Mm-hmm. For folks that haven't heard of Bubba or seen you on TikTok or Instagram or everywhere, what is Bubba all about?
Bubba is a family-owned franchise pizza chain. So my mum and dad founded it 25 years ago, and we do sort of pizzeria, corner store, Aussie traditional pizza. So we're not Italian, we're Irish blooded, I guess. We don't even know. That's how Australian we are. We don't actually know where we came from. So somehow we found ourselves in the pizza industry 25 years ago. And myself and my brother have been working in the shop since we were 15, 16, in and out of union, whatever we did. We're essentially a fast food pizza brand that's been hanging tough for a long time. So
cool.
Yeah.
Just Victoria?
We got 2 in the Adelaide Hills, and then we got 15 in Victoria at the moment.
Cool.
We go all the way from Mornington all the way down to Torquay, a few in the inner city, and then Aldgate and Mount Barker over in Adelaide. So
cool.
It's been it's different. It's exciting. It's a different. People always. It's always a good conversation when people find out that you're in sort of hospitality or franchising or even just pizza. It's just a bit different, which, we really like. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Where did it all begin?
So Dad was, he was a retailer. He worked in Bilo as, I think he was state manager in Bilo in Adelaide. So that's our Adelaide connection. But then they got bought out by Coles Group, and head office moved to Taronga. I can't remember what year it was, but we moved over to Melbourne, and then they wanted to move him around again. So we'd already moved 5 or 6 different cities, like literally everywhere. Brisbane, sorry, not everything but Brisbane actually. So we moved around a lot, and then eventually he said that's enough. We want to stay in Melbourne, and he started managing shopping centres. I think it was Parkmore and another one. And then through there, he met a lot of cafe owners that were in the centre, and one of the guys had a pizza joint. And he said, I'm doing really well. I'd love for you to come down and check it out. And so they formed a partnership, and they created Bubba. They went into sort of restaurants, pizza shops, but eventually I think the initial partner was more of a cafe restaurant guy, and Dad was enjoying the pizza game. So they parted ways very quickly. First few years, like not in a bad way or anything. Yeah. And then, Mum and Dad just started growing the pizza business from, they must have been from 2002 or 3, they went out on their own and eventually got so big that they started franchising. And that's, so we've been franchising now for about 15 years.
Are there still some company-owned stores as well?
Yeah, there's 2 at the moment. They come in and out. Sometimes a franchisee might want to exit and we'll take it over. Other times we'll start a greenfield site, or or a brownfield, which is the only term I heard last week, which was buying an existing independent, taking it over, running it, and then franchising it down the track, or holding on to it for a little bit. Depends what happens. So yeah, in and out. But I think the key to growth has always been franchising. We always want the owner to be there every night, and we can't be there every night to see every customer and make sure everything's smooth and build like a rapport and a connection with people. It's really important in a pizza shop. Yeah,
I've heard you say that on your socials, that it's really is important for you to know the customers and to actually be there. It's like the old barista thing, isn't it? When you know your barista and they know you, kind of thing.
Exactly. That's what I talk about. I say pizza culture is very similar to coffee culture in Melbourne, especially. So, for me, I go to a coffee joint that I know the owner, he knows my name, and we have a quick 1 or 2 minute chat, and then he'll say, mate, have a great day. And I know that, one, the money's going to a local family and the local community. But 2, it's just nice to see a friendly face, especially these days, there's not a whole lot of connection with people. So even through COVID, I noticed it was a really big thing. I just had to get out and go to my local coffee shop every day just to have a little smile, and it sort of made my day. But pizza's not too different. Of course, people are going to order on their delivery apps and things like that, and they'll always do that. But there's still a lot of people that love to come down and pick it up. And so, the people come in, they order their pizza. Sometimes they might hang around on the other side of the pizza bar while you make the pizza and they'll chat. And other time, and it's usually a 10, 15 minute wait. So you can have a big chat, or they can just sit there and relax, but yeah, it's very similar. The connection with people is really important. And I think some of our most successful franchise partners and some of our most successful stores are the ones that really engage with customers, and that's how you build up your customer base. But you start there, and then you never know who's the president of the local footy club or owns a big factory down the road, and that's how you start to build your business.
Yeah, I noticed that you did some content on that recently, like you sponsor like cricket clubs and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
and I think everyone can relate to that, whether they're part of netball, football, cricket, whatever the local sport. Like the pizza shop's the one that kind of steps in and does the sponsoring, because it works both ways, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like free pizza vouchers for the juniors, some cash for the seniors, a big sign around the field. But not only that, you get to supply them for their big parties and events and spontaneous nights or training. So but that doesn't always happen that easily. You can't just hand over the money and they'll start ordering. You've got to hold some accountability to them, and they've got to hold it to you as well. They don't want to a lot of the good ones, they don't want you to just hand over some money and put a sign up. They want to see you down at the sponsors night. They want to see you watch a game. So, and that's another part of how we can't as a sort of the head office, I guess, or a franchisor, we can't be everywhere. So the best franchise partners that we have are the ones that will go down and engage. But yeah, there's a lot of footy clubs that will just take your money, and it's like, if you're going to throw $1,000 or $2,000 to them, you want to make sure you get that back and get a bunch of new customers. Otherwise, it's just a waste. Yeah,
definitely. I actually saw something recently, a bit of content that you did around like a lot of people ordering through like delivery apps and things. I don't know if you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I went on a bit of a rant.
Yeah.
All right, this is why sometimes your pizza arrives cold when you order on your fancy apps. You ready? So 2 orders come in from the delivery partners, all right? I put the 2 orders in the pizza oven. We've got 1 order here, comes out perfectly. Next order out, comes perfectly. Delivery partner comes in, holds up his phone, and we're like, great, 2 orders, there you go. But then, bing, another order comes in. And he goes, oh, no, I'm going to wait for this 3rd one now. And we're like, no, mate, this pizza's just come out the oven, they're hot. He goes, no, I'm going to wait for the next one. We do not have any power in that situation. We cannot stop him or force him to cancel that 3rd one. These pizzas here that came out 15 minutes ago, potentially could be out of the oven for 45 minutes, maybe even an hour before it gets to your house. We don't work hand in hand with the drivers at all. We actually work against each other. He wants to get as many deliveries as he possibly can from one shop. and we want to get our pizzas out as hot as possible. Both of them don't quite work together. So that's just one reason why your pizza might turn up a little bit colder depending on how you order it. It's probably best always now to just pick it up, to be honest. And it's cheaper.
Can you, for folks that want to relate to that, because I related to this when I ordered off Uber Eats in Sydney last week, and I was thinking, I actually saw your content the day before or something.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, well, I'm just saying delivery partners for now. I'm not going to name one.
We won't say one. It was for me, it was Uber. For you, it's everyone. Okay,
you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. But it's a really frustrating dynamic, and one of the biggest challenges of the last 5 or 6 years in hospitality, because it came on like nothing. It just, like in COVID, it just went bang, the delivery apps. And they charge 30%, so that's a huge cost. So you've got, traditionally in hospitality, your costs are 30% for cost of goods, 30% for wages, and then maybe 5 to 10% rent, and then you've got gas, electricity, and then all your other overheads, which are pretty substantial in hospitality when you've got gas fryers and ovens going all day.
For sure.
So they're already going up, but then you've got to try and plug in 30% of a portion of your business that's growing every day. So it's really, really challenging. Things like the traditional delivery driver is slowly disappearing. Some of our stores are trying to keep the dream alive. Company stores, we just deliver special orders, or if there's an old lady that can't use an app, or a footy club order, or a catering order, we'll take care of. But really, you think about that 30% wages, that's the only thing that can give. You can bump your prices up and get a bit more margin on your cost of goods, but you can't cover that 30%. No way, unless you're charging just about double or whatever the calculation might be. Someone probably knows it, but so the big challenge is trying to make that work. And a shop that's got high volumes, massive volumes, they can work it out. They could probably hire their driver. They can and pay the 30% of whatever the portion of their sales might be. But the reality is that at the moment, the volumes aren't up as high as they used to be for all hospitality. Don't care if you're, McDonald's or anyone. Yeah. Some people are doing great, and that's awesome. But our pizza business is built on volume. You see our pizza ovens, they're a conveyor belt. It's like a little factory. So it's all set up for maximum efficiency. But where you look at a pizzeria wood fire joint, that's for they take a bit more time to craft their product and they charge a bit more. But for our business, it's selling as many pizzas as you can. It's all set up for that. So when they go down, and then you add in another costs like that, and rising dairy and meat and gas and electricity, becomes pretty challenging. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there, but in terms of delivery partners, it's frustrating. You have to use them. There's some people that don't, and good on them, but they're in different areas and things like that. I just think of the 20-year-old now that's addicted to their phone, using more savvy on the phone than we could ever be. And then when they're 25, are they just going to suddenly pick up the phone and call and go down and get their pizza? No, they're going to be straight onto those apps. You have to be on there if you think about where you are in 5-10 years. And also starting to think about AI and these tech companies that are on NASDAQ or the ASX, they're going to have the first opportunity to streamline everything and make the coolest possible, ordering experience. And you kind of have to be there, but they just charge so much. It's taking the piss. I'm happy to rant about it. I'm happy to say that, but it's just a really big challenge.
The other thing is, though, from the consumer's point of view, is one of the videos that you showed is that as a delivery driver, because we think it's the delivery driver that's making all this money, but they're not when they work for one of these apps. Yeah. It's kind of going to the head office for overseas. Yeah. But to try and make more money is they'll kind of batch orders together, right? They'll sit in your shop and they'll wait for 3 pizzas to come out rather than just take the one and get it fresh to a customer. So from a customer's perspective, if you like the fresh pizza, my father-in-law's always going on about that. It's got to be straight out of the oven, right? It does make sense to go and pick it up because you're there and it's ready to go, bang, done. I think that's a small business thing just generally is for consumers to be aware and to purchase mindfully as well.
Yeah.
To know the impact of that.
Yeah, but it's definitely not a what do you call it? It's definitely not a harmonious system where the delivery driver will come in and we're like, oh great, here you go, take care of this pizza, and we high five when they leave the door. It's very much a system set against each other. So that particular rant I went on, which I did on the spot, like it happened, and I was just like, Paddy, get the phone out. I've got to say something, which I think is how it went so well.
Yeah.
But so two pizzas take 10 to 15 minutes for pickup, which is delivery partners that basically pick up. And so we made these 2 orders. And don't forget, we made the dough the day before. We cut all the veggies, 10 a.m. that morning. It's not just that moment. It's a lot of effort that goes into that, and, pride and all that. So we make these 2 orders. They come out the oven piping hot. They sit on the oven, and then they batched it to this particular driver. He took the pizzas, and then all of a sudden, as he's walking out the door, he took them in his hand, and he goes, oh, I've got another one. And we're like, 15 other orders have come in that time. It's going to be another 15-minute wait, mate. And he goes, and he's holding the box. So he goes away, sits down on the chair with our pizzas, and it's basically a standoff. And so we just put the order in, and had to do it. But
because then your pizza's rocking up, and then the customer might be like, well, it was a bit cold when I got it, or it was a bit soggy or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And that reflects poorly on your brand and the Bubba's brand, generally speaking.
Yeah, and a massive risk as well is if I push him too hard and I kick him out, or a lot of people on that particular video were like, just tell him this, just tell him who's boss, sort of thing. Okay, I'll tell him who's boss, right? But he's going to be in the car with 3 orders with my name on it, my brand on it, with pizza, things that people are going to be ingesting and eating in a few minutes. Anything could be done to that food from our shop and to ruin our business. Let's just say on a minor level, they could have a little thing of chili flakes or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes they just give us a 1-star review on Google, and it's, but I don't blame them. They're out there trying to make a buck as well, and they're probably getting peanuts for it too. Yeah. But the biggest thing that frustrates me is seeing people like the Kardashians or Shaquille O'Neal on TV prime time. They don't get out of bed for multiple millions of dollars. And I just see that those big costs going to that rather than, firstly, it's going back over to America. It's not staying in Australia. Yeah. And it's a big amount of money that funds advertising like that on prime time. When
you could be like just focusing on delivering a great product, which is what you're doing. Yeah. Let's go back before. Actually, there's one thing I wanted to ask you. What's been your most viral video, like piece of content that you've done for the Bubba brand?
For Bubba, I think it was probably that one. It was probably that.
That one was pretty big.
One.
What about the orange one?
The orange one. Oh, yep. So that was in a collaboration with my other page that I have. I created a page called Prune Masters. So that was in collaboration with that page. It's kind of a football Aussie larrikin humour page, and I had my 2 mates that we were making content with. They were older, sort of Aussie traditional, like let's just say bogans. I'm sure they won't mind. I'm a bogan, and I just had a little. We were just sitting there going, "How are we going to come up with this?" And this is generally how it happens. I was like, "Okay, we got to come up with a video." So I brought some oranges and a pizza over, and they were sitting out the back having beer, and we just made a joke about this King Brown, which is a slang term for a big bottle of Carlton Draft. Yeah, we pretended this King Brown jumped out of the bushes while he was holding an orange, and his mate was holding the pizza, and it flew into the air and landed the orange, the ham and orange pizza. But that was just sort of a bit of a piss take. So you're just having an orange today, Desi?
Yeah, that's just the vitamin C element.
But we share. The Desi will get some of the pizza. Look at that, ham and cheese. Look at that. I should take up cricket. Leggy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah.
What happened to your pizza?
I'm not too sure. I guess go and ask over Red. Desi, have a Captain Cook at this, son. Mate, The orange has come down. It's got the orange on it.
Ham and orange.
Ham and orange. It's not bad. I mind it.
I reckon it's got a place in society.
You're getting your vitamin C levels up.
That went extremely viral. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, that was maybe 2 million there. And that's when we were going really well on that Prune Masters page. But that something like that won't really help your brand because that particular video wasn't overly relatable to the Bubba audience, which at the time was tiny. Would have been, every video we were doing was probably 500 to 1,000 views. So it would have been very funny for the existing Aussie larrikin audience that were already engaged, and we were doing millions of views on different videos at the time. But really, if you want to, my new strategy now with socials is about building organic or a highly engaged organic audience that is following the story of our business. So
maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that. Like, why did you decide to do this? Like you and your brother, like you're both involved in the business. Like, what is it? Because there's been some trials and tribulations.
Yeah, do what in particular? Sorry,
just like get involved, invest so heavily in social media,
socials.
Yeah,
well, because I had so much success with it last year with my mate Towners on this page, and I knew that, and I would often pull the Prune Masters trigger to get eyeballs on Bubba. So we would play around in the kitchen. We did food reviews and that. So I'd always wanted to set it up to make it adjacent to Bubba when I needed it. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. These ad hoc viral videos for Bubba here and there won't actually increase sales. So the strategy changed. So sorry. Basically, what I wanted to do this year, I wanted to take over socials for Bubba and not rely on Prune Masters, which I didn't see. Didn't see thousands of people coming in for that ham and orange video because it was just a random, puff of air on the internet. One of the people that I admire and I follow is Brittany Saunders. She's one of the OG podcast, one of the OG YouTubers. I used to do the makeup and stuff like that, 10, 15 years ago. And then she ended up building Fate, a clothing brand from that, from being, a massive influencer. And she always, one line that I heard from her is that you want to build an audience that wants to see you succeed. And so that's basically my entire strategy with Bubba now. It's only been going since the 1st of August, is just to do that. You got to connect with people. Can't just sit there going, hey, look, this is a great pizza, or here's a great deal you got to really connect with people and buy it. And to do that, you have to be authentic. You have to show, your blemishes. You got to, you can't just expect to be celebrating all your wins and tooting your horn all the time. No one cares about that. But the strategy now is that to be a bit more open, honest, and real. And that's also the back end, like things like delivery partners and challenges. Because I feel like when you show people the real stuff, then when you do something great, like what we did in August, then you can actually really, truly celebrate it. Yeah. And if you look at all the comments through August, you've got people commenting saying, oh man, I'm coming down. I'm going to try one. Someone flew down from Brisbane.
Yeah, Queensland. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
To try our food, to support us. And I had mates and friends and that. So yeah, that's sort of the whole strategy at the moment. But I'll give you one example. This was before August, and a lot of people making content are just focusing on viral content.
Yeah, they are.
Like viral, relatable hospitality content, which goes all over the world, and you can have millions of views, but it won't give you $1 in sales. It'll look good and you'll have some followers there, but it's about creating an ongoing engaged audience and building off that. So remember when Coldplay, the Kiss Cam exposed the CEO cheating on his wife?
Yeah.
I was like, I was sort of scanning the internet that day. It was a slow day, and I'm like, oh, no one's actually jumped on this yet, like done a viral video. So I ran down to the Kensington store with TJ, who's one of our franchise partner who we do content with, and people love him. And we did a little mock of that moment.
Yeah.
And it went to 250,000 people in like less than a day or something like that. but 96% were in America, and then there was probably 2% in the UK, and no one came in and said, "Oh, great video! I want to buy a pizza." So I think a lot of people are sleeping on this stuff. They're really sleeping on content. A lot of businesses. It's a massive opportunity to find local customers on social media, and the targeting is phenomenal on TikTok. So the most effective viral video we've done recently was the very start of our 25th birthday campaign, where we parted ways with a franchise partner. They left, pretty much handed us back the keys, and we did not need it on our plate. It was so much more work we had on our plate. But that's when we decided we're going to roll up the sleeves and take this business on and do it ourselves, because we're sick of this happening. Yeah. And so I filmed a video. They had a little bit of a snippet of the initial walkthrough of the shop, and that went to everyone in Langawarren and Frankston, like very quickly, a couple of 100,000 people, but very highly targeted. And from that video, we were able to start to really build this audience that wants to support us, because we were real about it. And it's just it was a fluke, like that moment. And a lot of people said, "Don't do it. Stop doing that." Basically, it's not. It's like rule number 1 of marketing or something like that. Which, you have to challenge the norms, and it was effective. And we went from videos doing 1,000 views per video to now, around the 5 to 10. So we've accumulated 5 to 10,000 per video. So we're starting to build this audience. But you can still do viral videos. I can talk about this for hours, by the way, if you haven't noticed. But you can still do those viral videos and trends and that, but you use it sparingly, and you do it with your existing customer base. For example, like I used, say 6 months ago before we started doing this, and our views were, peanuts, and you went out and you did I did that Uber Eats rant that I did. It would take a real fluke for that to go viral, but the way it works is if you've got this engaged audience of a regular 5 to 10,000 people viewing just about every video, and you do something great and funny and like that, or a great rant that's highly engaging, that 5 to 10,000 and within the first hour or two are all going to react really positively. You're going to get a lot of likes, a lot of shares, and saving a lot of videos. And the algorithms are going to go, okay, it's going to trigger the algorithms to go, wow, this video here is going off. Well, let's share it to everybody. Let's start spreading it out to different people in different areas or whatnot. So it's about sort of keeping the pot boiling rather than trying to cook something from cold and just turn the stove on. So that's the best analogy I can do. So you want to keep that rolling boil, because eventually, one video is going to really pop, but it's got the algorithm's going to have a much bigger base. It's all based on metrics and data and things like that. So that's kind of my philosophy.
It's crazy to think though, like with the Bubba Pizza brand, because you guys have been around for a long time, how much people, we're sitting here in Victoria and it's most people would have driven past one or whatever. But it's crazy to think like how many people are noticing what you're doing. Like it's actually been really, really impressive. I don't think I've seen this in recent times where you've kind of lit that spark and people are buying into the mission. Like my wife's celiac, but she loves her pizzas, and so she follows you guys, and she was like, "You get this guy on the show." Like she already knew when Mitch and our team reached out to you. She already knew exactly what you were doing and why you were doing it, and it had already kind of built this narrative in her head of what it is exactly that you're doing. And so I guess you said before, like what's effective, what's not. Are you seeing this play out in numbers, like a franchisee's reporting that it's helping sales? I know we were chatting just off air before. After this, you're going to go down and see some other of the store owners that want you to come down and do some content with them. Like, is it actually cutting through?
Yeah, and the targeting's amazing. So, our August campaign, our sales were boosted by 30%.
Wow.
And we put some money in ads and different things, but if you go back and you read the comments and things like that, people were on the mission. They wanted to help us, both locally and people outside, the customers. But we acquired a bunch of new customers as well. Can't remember the numbers. My other marketing guy knows all the numbers, but like thousands of customers came in, new customers. So it's about retaining them, for the month where we're not doing $14.50 pizzas and celebrating something. So, but the big question was, after August, will it just drop off to normal, or will it, will there be a new normal of sales level which is higher? And so far it has been. So it's about what's the next thing, You can't just be, you can't just be doing the same content all the time. You got to find the next story. And at the moment, I'm working on a few little things, but I think the other thing is being open and honest with your goals with people as well. People love seeing your goals, and with the August campaign, I did the tracker so people can visualize exactly what you're trying to achieve, and you can just flick different reminders to people that we're on track, we're halfway there, we're getting there, and they see that and they go, it just reminds them of the journey that they're on with you. So
do you with the content, generally speaking, do you find that you can produce organic content and then you see what's working and then you do the paid ads? Is that how you typically run it?
I'm not. So one of our new business partners, he is ex-CMO. So he's
a marketing wizard.
He's the traditional marketing person. So ads, ROI, what's that word? ROAS, all that stuff. So we haven't quite yet got right on. I think we've kicked a few goals. I've kicked a few goals with content. But once we get on officially the same page, I think that we will get a lot more out of it. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people out there. There's a strategy of putting your organic videos out there, and if one's got an average view time of 15 seconds, that's the video you put money behind, and that's the one that you like. That's a sure thing sort of thing. It's going to get great engagement. Whereas the old school, flashing video that goes for 3 seconds saying 50% off or something like that, probably the average view is going to be like 1 second. Actually, I remember not long ago, a few years ago, I was at the QSR Media Awards, which is like the yearly, the Oscars of fast food. And there was a TikTok guy up there that was giving a spiel, and their whole advice to everybody was, get your logo in there in the first 3 seconds, because the average view of a TikTok is 3 seconds. And that was so wrong, because if you make great content, the average view time is going to be 20 or 25 seconds. And imagine how many key messages that you could get in that 20-second video versus 3 seconds. Yeah. It was just incredibly wrong. And, it changes and morphs all the time. But, so it's about just sort of combining both of those strategies eventually. But it's still early days. Yeah.
You're an accountant by background, right?
Yeah, I went to uni and I was an accountant for a couple of years, but I was a shit kicker. I wasn't any good.
Well, it seems you've definitely found your calling with some of the stuff that you're doing now, so it's really cool. Quick question on the logo. I think you did a video, and I'll let you tell the story. I think it was with your old man, and you asked where the logo came from. Oh,
the OG logo. I think it came from, was it Win Art or something like that? Oh, in like the early 2000s, there was like a
clip art thing.
Clip art, on Microsoft Word. I'm pretty sure it was like a standard image that you could drop in from there. I'm just imagining that little paperclip guy.
Yeah, the little paperclip man.
Yeah, something he probably would have used or inputted for my dad. It was something like that, or very like, oh, that looks good, let's do that. Yeah. But that's got some good nostalgia. A lot of people remember that guy. But every pizza shop in the 2000s had a fat Italian man throwing up a pizza base.
Yeah, they did.
And I thought, well, when we invested some money into a creative agency about 7-8 years ago, and we said, like, can we sort of tweak the brand, not change it too much, but that was part of it. The old guy, the old Italian man going, and so that was a big part of that. Yeah.
On the business side of things, like I alluded to before, the business has been through some tough patches.
Yeah.
Can you maybe just talk through some of those moments and how you kind of resolve that as a business?
Well, the biggest, COVID was challenging. It was really challenging. I was on my honeymoon. We got married on the leap year, 29th of Feb, and that was when it was all going down. But people were still making Corona jokes, like the beer, like,
I remember.
Coronavirus, I'm going to get it today. But 2 weeks later, it was like shutting down borders and things like that. It happened really quickly. And, there's bodies lining up in the streets of Italy, I remember. But we were in Mexico, me and my wife. So we had a 4-week honeymoon and we were 3 weeks in, I think. And it all changed. And I was just like, people were calling me, well, you got to get home. And so we had a mad dash to get home. And from that moment, getting home and landing, I had to handle a big sort of franchise crisis, I guess, like everyone did. Yeah. And it was tough. Like, what do you do when you have to shut all your shops? Like, because I think at the time we had a fixed franchise fee, and that failed because when it's like paying a fixed rent, what the landlords had to defer or whatnot. But we had franchisees panicking, and they were looking for us to lead us through it, and it was really, really tough. The hardest part about COVID, because COVID was actually great. There was people at home with money, ordering pizza. So in terms of sales, it was great, but in terms of relationship management, it was really tough because some days you couldn't go out and see people, or you had restrictions on where you could drive to or whatever. But it was keeping everybody cool and calm and on the same team. But what happens is when you're sitting at home, and that's when group chats started to blow up as well. And there was sort of franchise partner group chats and things like that, which were great, and we want everyone to be communicated, but it can also is an opportunity to go toxic and go the wrong way. And I think that sort of happened at one point there, and it was a bit of a tough thing because every time you talk to one person, it gets shared to everybody else, and just became a little bit sort of high schooly. So that was sort of really hard to manage that. And at the same time, I had the parents still running the business who, hadn't been actively in the business for a long time. And so I had this sort of sandwich between the parents trying to tell them what we need to do. And my brother as well, he's with me. So we ran it together. And then the franchise partners as well. It was like a bit of a shit sandwich at one point, but we got through it pretty well. And that was sort of the biggest sort of mental challenge. That was really, really tough. And I've always been happy to talk about that. And then the bigger challenge was sort of the cost of living. That has been a really slow drip over a few years now.
With interest rates, because I noticed you talk about that a lot. And I was thinking, as I was walking my dog's last night, I was watching some of your videos, and I was like, you talk a lot about that. You talk a lot about, like, this is like here in this office, we've got like all the big finance podcasts and stuff. We talk about this sort of thing a lot. But then to hear you as, the guy behind Bubba Pizza and doing all these things on socials and stuff, it's very, very unique to hear that kind of boots on the ground. So that's kind of been like the second big challenge when you've been at the helm, like just trying to do stuff, is like the last few years with interest rates going up, everything going up as well. And you got to remember as well that COVID, that Melbourne in particular was the most locked down city. So you're coming out of that, and then you're everyone bought houses and houses shot up. So young families, which are our target market, to buy 2 or 3 pizzas every week or two. They're $500,000 loans now. Their repayments, went from whatever $3,000 a month to $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and that's their pizza money. So that's that's all part of it. But really, there's IBIS reports. So there's a hospitality IBIS report, and we started reading that a number of years ago, and they give you and they tell you in those reports that the number one number one sort of indicator for food hospitality performance is the consumer confidence numbers. So, and we tracked the consumer confidence numbers back almost 10 years against our sales line, and it's basically like Perfect.
like perfectly shaped with our sales line. So
Wow.
with consumer confidence down, over the last few years or slowly dripping down. Now it's a bit sort of stubborn. I think it's at 84 or whatever. I think there's a couple of different ways they measure it. But yeah, so that's sort of the whole philosophy of rolling up the sleeves now. And like we can't just wait for interest rates to change and people to have more money. You got to try and roll the sleeves up and try something new because it might be down there for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So you got to constantly be pivoting, changing, trying new things. Like obviously people are looking for a deal and where they weren't used to. They never used to look for a bargain or a deal, but now even you can see even on the delivery partners, if you open up one of their apps, it's all about offers and deals
the
and
sales logos at the top.
Yeah, that's the sort of top of their algorithm, which gives you an indication of how it's impacted them as well. So that's just it's really, but it's good to know that number is an indicator of the economy. It's not always about your own performance, but at the same time, there are people beating that as well. So you've got to give them credit. Like I think one is Royal Stacks, to just see him open up these burger shops all the time. Like he's just killing it, and they're not cheap end burgers. They're probably the best burgers you can get in Melbourne, and he's opening them up everywhere. So there are people that are doing it, and it's just about us unlocking what it is that we need to do that as well. And so that's why we experiment a lot, and everybody knows that people are addicted to their phones. And what are they doing on their phones? They're on social media, like they're watching Reels and TikTok. So if you're not focusing your marketing strategy there, then what are you doing? What are you doing? And a lot of brands will, even the bigger brands, it's very surprising, even the bigger fast food brands, you can see that they've just gone, oh, TikTok, let's hire a 20-year-old, a Gen Z, and they can just do TikTok for us. And you look at the stuff and it's funny and haha, like it's cool, but they're not getting any results out of it. And these guys probably have a team of 5 or 6 people in their social media team, like when you look at these big national brands, and they're not getting results out of it. So when I say people are sleeping on it, they still are, definitely. And even creative agencies and even social media agencies are still sleeping on it as well. They, often when like we would work with agencies like that, and we'd do a video of some sort, and it would come through landscape every time. And my social media person at the time was like, no, it's got to be phone. People are watching in 9:16 or whatever the phone shape is of the video. And so even people like that they're still sleeping on the fact that everything needs to be done for smartphone. Yeah. And all you need these days is a really good idea and a smartphone, and you can have, like my ham and orange video that went all across the world and locally went really well as well. So you just really need a good idea and a smartphone these days.
If we think about just Bubba for a second, what's your vision of it? Like, what do you want to see? Because you're very like authentic and transparent with the way you communicate that underlying message, which I think is one of the big things I'll take away from this chat. But like, where do you want to be? What's that goal look like for you?
Look, over 100 stores would be great one day.
Wow. So you're at 17 now, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm not going to go out there and make some claim of we're going to do it in 3 years or 4 years or anything like that. I don't see the point. The focus right now is to switch from sort of treading water to growing again. So that's the main focus. And once we start growing, then maybe I could throw out some numbers like that. But, there's no reason why we shouldn't set the goal of being the biggest, one of the biggest pizza chains, Australian founded pizza chains in Oz, which at the moment, if you get to sort of that 50 to 100 range, you're probably going to get there. But you may as well just say over 100. It's a nice number. Yeah. So that's the end game, and
that's cool. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, you see people like gyms and these other family businesses and franchises that do so well. You want to, and last, the test of time. You want to do that. There's like a whole family legacy there. So there's definitely those goals out there.
Yeah. Maybe one final question on this is just like, it feels like to me, like watching franchisors, like the brands from the outside, so much rides on the ability to kind of be meticulous with the brand in a way, not like fragile with it, but like to really reinvest in the Bubba brand is going to be integral to that. Like the way you kind of carry yourself and the way you use these outward facing channels. Is that the way you think about it?
Well, as I said, we invested in branding a lot of money into an agency that did a whole brand strategy, and they went out and interviewed customers, suppliers, everyone. They dug real deep into what our brand was about. And when they came and sat us down and presented it to us, it was your brand is inclusive, convivial, moves with the times, it's able to laugh at itself. And I remember my brother going, well, that's just our family. Like that's exactly what our family is. And so a lot of, which was great. We loved it. It resonated with us, and we were like, well, that's our family. Mum and Dad were always having people over growing up and having barbecues and pizza nights and party. They let us have so many parties in their house. Like it was just, we were all the very big, open, welcoming family. And like my mum and dad were like the unofficial mum and dad of so many of my friends growing up. And so it was just natural for that. It was a natural progression with everything I learned on socials is to embody. Well, we didn't have to change much to embody the brand ourselves and become the face of the brand, because it was all there, and the guys that did the branding for the Bubba brand really nailed it. And it wasn't like, it was just, it was such a strong connection anyway that it's easy, like, just to be able to laugh at yourself, not take yourself too seriously. And that's why I think it's just been so easy. And we're buying, like, those guys are probably watching most of my videos and just shaking their head and going, what the hell has he done with this? Like, we put all this money into branding and he's like eating a Carolina Reaper at Flinders Street Station trying to go viral. And so it's, whatever I'm doing now has moved well past those guys. But at the same time, like going through that process actually is like me. It was like my crash course in branding as well, and being a part of the brand strategy, building it with them, and also the one thing I will give them credit to is working with them was how to challenge the norms. So we did a campaign a few years ago in 2020 actually that won us a QSR Media Award for, I can't remember what the award was, but it was for the campaign, the Grand Hangover campaign, where we delivered cold pizza the day after the AFL Grand Final to cure hangovers. So that's that whole, our tagline is "Let Bubba make it better," and so that, we make things better through the power of pizza. Whether it's the in-laws come in and are in town, you don't want to cook, Bubba will make it better, or you're hungover, let Bubba make it better. So that was a great campaign that got on the news wrap up that day, and we were on Sunrise the next morning, and completely hungover with a box of cold Aussie pizzas, eating it with, I think it was Clint Drydale or Clint something. And so that won us an award, and they taught. I went through, school with them on how to challenge the norms and that. So I apply that to, ham and orange, obviously, like disrupting the norm, and it just works. It just works so well.
Cut through, right?
And you're cutting through socials as well now. So once you apply, what can cut through an algorithm plus what can cut through on a brand perspective, it kind of, it's doing well. I'm really confident in it. And when it hasn't solved all of our problems, but, when I see people like Brittany Saunders and what she's done, and, I really admire her and I love what she does. And there's another example, Gracie's Wine Room. Her name's Kelsey. She's on TikTok. She started this story of I quit my job and now I'm opening a wine bar, which is just a hook that a lot of people use, but she just did it flawlessly. And I remember, and you watch her, paint the walls and scrub the floor and build the cabinet with her boyfriend or whatever she did, and you feel a part of that journey and you want her to succeed. And I remember walking down the day before she opened, just on Toorak Road or something like that in Paran, I thought, oh, I'm just going to walk down and see what it's all about. And I walked past there and I saw her. I think she had a family night the night before she opened, and it was a massive inspiration for what I've been doing now, and I thank her for that. But she had a customer base before she even opened up the shop, like a massive customer base. And now she's opened up another business. So, and she's got all these people that follow her and are cheering her on. So yeah, that's my challenge, is to do that from a franchise perspective with 17 different stores, 17 different faces. And then obviously myself and my team. So
it's an exciting challenge. It's a lot of work.
It is,
but it's an exciting challenge. Yeah. Well, I know the Bubba brand from growing up around it and stuff like that. So it's been a real treat chatting about this, mate. But I wanted to ask you one final question, which is a tricky one that a lot of people kind of stumble on, which is if you could go back to a younger version of yourself and give you one piece of advice, like if it's business advice, if it's life advice, whatever it might be, what would it be?
How young am I when I'm going back?
Go back as far or as near as you want.
I think it's probably something along the lines of that, like, you can learn a lot from other people that don't necessarily agree with you on everything or have the same values. Like, I think a lot of the way the world is, it's very divided, but you can't just shut people out. You can embrace people that have different values and things to you, and celebrate the common things that you have. And that can be applied to business and social and however you want to apply it. But I think it's really important not to just shut people out, which can be done very easily. And it's a two-way street, but I think it's about trying to celebrate what you've got. And at the moment, like, we've got franchise system in hospitality, and we have a lot of people from overseas coming over and buying pizza shops, and it's just a known thing that's just sort of what the hospitality industry is like. But you've got to embrace that, and you've got to show that and be proud of that and work out a way for that to work for you, and just sort of just don't just I guess just make the most of it and be real and honest about it, and celebrate what that is, and roll with it. Yeah.
Cool. I love it, mate. That's great advice and wisdom. Let Bubba make it better. You've made me think about cold pizza, which I absolutely love. So I think there's going to be Bubba on the menu in the next week or so at my house, and I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know you got a busy schedule. You're trying to grow the business, and I wish you all the best with it. So thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was great.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Australian Business Podcast. If you want to work with us in a more structured way, or you just want to get some of those great resources we mentioned, you can follow the link to go to the Australian Business Podcast landing page, where you'll find resources for every episode, as well as a full catalogue and links to resources that are frequently mentioned on the program. We include resources like courses and materials and workbooks that you can download and use to improve your business. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Australian Business Podcast. Thanks for watching this episode of the podcast. If you want to hear more from us, you can get daily videos and podcasts on Rask's YouTube channel, or if you want to enroll in a free course on investing, property, business, money, you name it, you can join over 34,000 other students and enroll in a free course on the Rask website. Simply head to www.rask.com.au and follow the prompts. Thanks for watching this Rask podcast.